Hey everybody, it's your girl Tanya from Authentically TJB. That is my channel. Welcome, welcome, because I'm humbly thinking that you are gonna stumble upon this video and watch it because what I want to talk about today is not being fearful. You know, and I have notes, so you're gonna see me looking back and forth because yes, it's only day what 12 of the no 13 of the new year, and before the new year, my soul was just wrestling, and my soul is not satisfied, and change is always inevitable, no matter what. You know, you're gonna have to change, and change is fearful, and I think what happens with me is I get complacent because, like, in the workplace, I know that I can do the job, and what bothers me is um, when others try to hold you back, and I don't know why. I can't explain it. Someone said maybe so and so is intimidated by you. There's no need to be, because at the end of the day, we're all there for the greater good. Don't be fearful of my abilities, because what I may know and you don't know, or you may know and I don't know, my slogan always is each one teach one. So don't feel like you have to punish me to make yourself feel better. And I need to get in out of this realm that I'm afraid to travel for a job. If you ask me back in 2007, when I was going for my, actually before then, 2002, when I was going for my first master's, probably even before then, if you ask me why did I go to college, I'm going to tell you it's because I wanted to further myself in my career. I wanted to be able to do, I want to be, I wanted to be in corporate America when I was in New York. But I was in that as a secretary, and then I went into accounting at another company, and then that's how I ended up, you know, in accounting now. But I always tell anybody, don't be envious of anything I have, because one, I don't tell people at work my business if I can help it. Because you don't, and I always say to people, and I had this one manager say, Tanya's so private. She don't never tell her business. That's not what I'm here for. You don't need to know if I'm home getting knocked upside the head. You don't need to know that. Because if I am at home getting knocked upside the head and I'm staying there, is something fearful in me that I can't get out of. So I don't knock any domestic violent person, because violent recipient, because I have been on that side of the channel. I have been domestic violence. I have faced that. So I know it's not easy to get out of. And the one who did it to me, I'm going to be honest, to this day, we are cordial. They live in New York, I live here. But one day on the telephone, we were speaking, because, you let bygones be bygones. That was 30 something years ago. But he said something to me that he used to say back then when he abused me. And I'm going to tell you, my whole equilibrium just froze again. And it took me back into that fearful state. But anyway, so I wanted to look up today about, fearfulness, because we all know at some point in our life we experience fear. I'm a woman of a certain age. I still feel fearful. Do I want to date? No, because I'm fearful about what's out there. You don't know what you're getting nowadays. But, and failure could come in the fear of unknown, the fear of success. Some people are afraid to be successful, and even the fear of failure, But if you think about fearless, like if someone say don't be fearless, break it down. It's two words. Honestly, it's fearless. So fearless is just simply saying fearless. Easier said than done. And sometimes being fearful, it can hold me back not even sometimes, being fearful holds me back from reaching my full potential because there were times I wanted to start a bookstore. I wanted to start my own business. And I always had these little businesses and I would start it. But then I would listen to others. And somebody always has something to say that wasn't like-minded with me. And then that fear crept in on me and I didn't do it. I used to work at Kohl's back in New York on the weekend part-time, and I was just part-time, and they saw something in me and I became the front end manager. And then they approached me to ask me to be a department manager. But because I was fearless and I was in my 20s, my brain wasn't thinking. All I thought about was I have these two kids, da, 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 da. And now look at Kohl's. I could have been the manager of my own store, but I was, because of fear. I lost an opportunity. And I've lost a lot of opportunities, honestly, being fearful. But you know what? We're gonna get into that. So get you a nice coffee, get you a glass of wine, a glass of water, some soda. Get into it, get cozy, and let's talk about it. Let's chat. Let's talk about ways that we can try to shift our mind from being so fearful. So, and I wrote myself some notes and some questions. Now, when I looked it up, I said, let me look up what fear is. So the definition that I got is fear is a natural emotion designed to protect us from danger. Fear is supposed to be designed to protect us from danger. So I guess when we're fearful of something, it's supposed to protect us from danger. It's a survival mechanism that is hardwired into our brains. So that's our survival mechanism, to be fearful. But sometimes I fear things that aren't even a threat. Like, I know that I have more potential, and I know that if I would open my mindset and my mental map for me to say, you to get what you want. I remember one time, let me back up. I had this mentor because I'm one that I always like to learn and I like to do professional development because I'm taking a accounting class now, right? And I'm fearful because I feel like, you can't do it. What if you can't do it, blah, blah, blah. But I can do it and I will do it. But nonetheless, but anyway, at one of my particular jobs, I had got into this professional development program. And I remember asking my mentor, and I would love, and I wish I could find my mentor today. I would love to meet up with him because we had the most in-depth, deep conversations. And I never forget, and it's always stuck with me. I said to him one day, I said, what do you suggest I do when I run into a barrier? And he simply said to me, he said, you have to find a way to go over, around, and above it. And it sticks with me. It resonates with me. But why am I so fearful to do that? Why? Am I fearful that I'm going to succeed? Am I fearful that I can't do any better? I don't know. But I don't know unless I try. And I'm stuck at a place where I get complacent. I know that, again, I want fulfillment in my career. I don't have much longer to work. I don't know how much longer I'm going to work, so I'm not going to spill the tea on my age, but I don't know. But I'm not getting fulfillment, and I want fulfillment in my roles, and and then I want and one of my classmates, because this class is online, and I work at a college, so my class is free except the book, and books are so expensive. Anyway, she said to me, and I was saying what department I work in and stuff and what I do, and she made me feel so good. She said, you know what, I commend you. She said, because some people will get in their careers and they will get complacent. And that's just never been me. I've never, and that I get from my mother. It says I get it from my mama. Well, I get it from my mother. And my mother, She was always my biggest cheerleader. And when I tell you I miss my mom, I miss her because the way I'm talking to you guys, I would talk to my mom, and she would talk me into getting that belief back in myself. And I'm going to tell you, this has been the 13 days of January of the new year have been kind of down for me. And I don't know if it's because I miss her. I'm not sure. But anyway, if let me know in the comments below, like, what are some of your biggest fears? I mean, another one of my fears was starting this YouTube channel. Did I have fear of that? I sure did. Who's going to watch me? They're going to get negative comments. I haven't told friends and family about my channel. And one is because I want to feel like I'm on here, and I named it authentically TJB for a reason, because I want to be authentic. I want to share my highs, my lows, my goods, my bad. I want to be able to express that. And I don't want anyone to be like, oh, why did you say that? You shouldn't have said that. Well, you know what? Hopefully I want to look back on this and say, you know what? I've come a long way. Like, I want to look at this video about fear and say, I've come a long way. So let's move on with that. So now that I've told you about my fears, I want to talk about changing my perspective. Fear comes from the unknown. Think about it. When we start a new job, you don't know what you're walking into, because Lord knows when I started this job, I did not know what I was walking into. Nonetheless, I'm here now, and I'm doing a thing called, if you know the old Krishna hymn, I'm running for my life. And here, I'm fighting to prove myself. Yet again, yup. As Jazzy could say, yup. I'm fighting to prove myself. And I shouldn't have to do that. And look, I'm even going off the notes that I took, because this is so important to me. And I just think about all the things that I lost and that I missed out on because of fear. Fear that someone's going to talk about me. Fear that I'm not going to do this right. Fear that I'm going to mess up. Fear that I'm not going to learn. At this age, again, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm of age where I have grandkids. Well, don't matter nowadays, because 30 years old have grandkids, but I'm not in the 30s. But so many times my best friend, she always wanted to do this girl trip, and I always had something to say. Even my mom used to try to get me to go on cruises and stuff. Oh, no. My life had to be so planned out. Nope, I got to make sure this is paid, that is paid, this is paid, this doesn't get cut off. I can't spend that money. I missed out on life then. But I am proud to say, and then, back then, I didn't know about the budgeting journey. All I knew about was survival. That's what I knew about. But now that I've learned to it's about budgeting and managing your money and your life, I'm proud to say I'm going on a trip in July. And you know what I'm doing? I'm paying for my trip just like I'm paying a bill. I factored into my bills. And that's what I'm doing. I want to buy a house. I tried to go through NACA. I tried to do this, didn't work. I don't want to put my mouth on it, but I'm hoping and I'm prayerful that next year will be my year to own something and to be able to leave something for my children and my grandkids. But so the first step for me to do to build my confidence, I'm doing it here. I'm being transparent with you guys. I'm opening up to you guys about my fears. And will it change overnight? Change doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. But can I do something about it? I can. And I mean, I think that just taking this chance, going on that trip. And you know what? Fear doesn't have to be a solo journey. You can, like, I could look to my friends for support, and I say friends, but I only have one best friend, and that's all I need. Because again, I'm at a particular age, and me and this girl have been rocking through things since like 30-something years. So I don't need friends. But you can look to friends for support. You got to know which ones are really going to give you the support, not the ones that are going to. I say I don't want the ones that are just going to let me say what, and say to me what they think I want to hear. I don't want that. I want you to be transparent with me, just like I will be transparent with them. And if there's something I don't feel comfortable about, I'll tell them in a heartbeat. I don't feel comfortable giving you advice on A, B, or C, because I don't want you to say, well, you told me this, you know. You can even have a mentor, someone who uplifts you and encourages you. I remember one time my late pastor, I could call him anytime, and we would talk. And the one thing he did say to me, and it resonates still to this day, another thing, don't beg. And I will not. I will not. I will not beg at my job to say, let me prove myself. Let me show you I could do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. But what I am going to do, I'm going to be more vocal and say, oh, I'll do that. I can take care of that. I can handle that. Because see, in me, I'm not fearful. Because what God has for me, honey, is going to be for me. And something I like to read, because like I said, I've just got off of my script that I had written down. Well, not even script, because I had taken notes. I like to sit down and write things out. But I read this every day. And it's Prayers and Promises for Women. And so I was thinking about this video, like I said, as I was taking notes. And I looked in my book and I said, so I know I want to talk about fearfulness. So let me look in my book and see if there's anything on that. And lo and behold, it's called fear. God gave us his spirit, and the spirit doesn't make us weak and fearful. Instead, the spirit gives us power and love. He helps us control ourselves. And that's from 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, from the NIRV version. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? That's Psalm 27, chapter 27, verse 1, from the NIV version. When I am afraid, I will trust you. I praise God for his word. I trust God, so I am not afraid. What can human beings do to me? Now, I have to resonate that in me, because right now, because I still have fear. So this is something I'm going to have to keep reading and put embedded into my head so I don't be fearful. So I'm not going to say right now that I am not fearful, because I am. I'm not going to say right now I'm unhappy, because I am unhappy and I want more. But the only way to get more is to stop being fearful and realize you may have to travel. Like I'm used to, oh, I'm just 30 minutes away from home. Yeah, but one time I drove an hour away from home. You know, it's going to be what it's going to be. Like I have to choose my poison. And then it says, faithful God, with you, I have no need of fear. Yes, still I struggle with it. Fear feels like a living thing. It comes in and takes hold of my thoughts, lying to me and trying to convince me I can't rely on you to save me. But you are near. I only need to speak your name and fear retreats. Thank you, Jesus, for the saving power of your name. So what fears can you give to God right now? And I'm not even going to talk about this platform. I'm going to I often say I shall not be moved. And I've moved on emotions so many times. And I want to be fulfilled. I need to be fulfilled. Career-wise, because when I do decide to retire, I want to do things on my terms. And I don't want to be fearful. And the only way not to be fearful is to get that fear out now, to work on what makes me fearful. Don't worry about what someone's going to say, because somebody's always going to have something to say. And I'm going to let us go on this. I remember there was this leader And he had spoke at this conference that I had went to. And I know him, he's a really good person. And he had said one time, he said that this person had came to his office, and she was talking about, so and so was talking about her. And he sat and listened, and she was crying and she was all in her feelings. No, it's not me. It wasn't me. I'm just telling you. He told me this, he was telling us the story. But she was all in her feelings, and couldn't understand why blah 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 was talking about her. And he said, you know what? He said, you talk about people, right? She couldn't help but say yes. And this too resonated with me. He said, if you gonna talk about somebody, then you have to be prepared for them to talk about you. So if I'm gonna talk about somebody, there ain't no need for me to get my feelings when somebody talk about me, because I done talked about people. And that's why I say, my staff, you want to talk about me? That's fine. But from 8 to 5, we gotta like each other. Now you talk about me. If I don't hear you, hey, I ain't got no problem. But if I hear you, then I'm going to address it. Because if you got a problem with me, listen, I've open door policy. And that, like we said when kids, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. If I do something you don't like, hey, let's talk about it. I'm not going to blackball you. I'm not going to make it hostile. I'm not going to do none of that. Because like I always tell people, remember, I was an employee, and I'm still an employee because I still have someone over me. So the way I want to be treated is the way I'm going to treat them. But with that being said, I hope that my story has inspired you or given you food for thought about being fearful. Because again, fearless, fearless, fearless. And that's something that it's not a goal, it's not a resolution, it's just something that I need to work on. And whatever you do, don't give up. Like, don't give up. Like I always say, I shall not be moved. This channel ain't gonna grow overnight. Some people gonna fly by the video because it ain't wild and cussing and acting crazy. But then there's somebody who's gonna hear this message and they're gonna say, you know what? She makes a good point, because that's me. I'm fearful and I need to get that fear out. You go on a ride at a carnival, you're fearful. There's so many. I've never been on a plane. I'm fearful, but I'm gonna conquer that fear, because either way, listen. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Do I pray nothing happens and then I get to my destination? I sure do. I sure do. So what I'm gonna do when I'm walking on that plane, I'm gonna be smiling just as happy and say, you know what, Lord, I pray for traveling mercy. And that's all I'm going to do. Because I do it when I go to work. I need to do that. Lord, I pray for traveling mercy. And when I get to my destination, I need to just say, Lord, I thank you. And what I used to do before I go into jobs that were, I was up against foolery, I used to say, Lord, be with me. Lord, be with me. But with that being said, I thank you for those who are watching. I thank you for those who will hit a like, a comment, and maybe even subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, all my videos are not going to be like this. They're going to be motivational, but there's going to be some fun stuff too. But this right here is my visual diary. I could sit down and write. Now, I will write out things I want to talk about here so I don't forget. But I want this to be my visual diary. So hopefully 6 months, a year, I can pull this video back up and say, you made it over. That's all I want to do. So with that being said, this video is 24 minutes. I just want to capture you. And again, and I hope that you will find something I said encouraging. Leave me a like. Leave me a comment. Like, what are you fearful for? And what are you going to do to get that fear out? And most importantly, please subscribe to my channel. It costs nothing. And matter of fact, it shouldn't scare you. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. And until the next time, I thank you. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, you make it a great evening. Bye.